Sheila is a very private, independent woman. She lived a very full life. She passed away about over a year ago. She was 87 years old. Her second cousin is Ken. He said friends and family knew Sheila, and they knew that she was well off, but they had no idea of the extent of her wealth until she just passed away. So family and friends knew she was comfortable. They're not aware of how wealthy she was because she always lived a very humble life. Turns out she left, get this, $14 million to be shared between 15 charities. It's crazy cool. So just Wednesday, 15 of the chosen causes were invited to the Broadmeadows Westpac Rescue Helicopter Facility. They were all there, and they were told of the detail of her generosity. And could you just imagine the overwhelming feelings of gratitude by this one lady who cared so much that she wanted to give what she had left? Amazing.
Wow, so she accumulated this wealth just from living simply? Is that what happened?
And she lived a humble life. She was always comfortable. She lived well, but she didn't live like she had $14 million. She gave it away. She had no kids. She never got married. She did have family. She had cousins, but this is what she left behind, so she wanted to make some kind of impact in people's lives. That's how much she cared.
Just in case you're wondering, Rob, I do not have $14 million, so I will not be leaving stuff like that behind for...
Okay, well, thank you for sharing.
Well, who's a good boy, Rob? Buddy is a good boy.
Sounds like you're talking about a dog, the way you speak.
I am. Buddy's a good boy. There's a little group of kids playing in the backyard in a Florida home right not too far from the Georgia line in Suwannee County. And, you can't always watch the kids every second. And you know how it is. You turn your head, boom, a kid is gone. This little 3-year-old wandered off into the woods.
Oh, that's scary.
But Buddy was like, hey, I can't let this happen. So he went to the little boy, and I'm sure Buddy's probably saying, hey, you got to come back. But no, he doesn't really speak English, poor little fella. But he stayed with his little 3-year-old. And then, of course, the mom noticed, the little 3-year-old is missing, had to call the police. They had the search team out and everything. And a neighbor spotted, I don't know how far away this neighbor was, but spotted a little boy and a dog and tried to, go there. But the dog would not let that neighbor
protecting
near the 3-year-old.
Way to go, Buddy.
Yeah, good boy. So eventually, the police, of course, the neighbor called and the police came, and they were somehow able to get near the boy. Mm-hmm. But they put on their website, they had some hashtags. They had hashtag give that dog a bone, hashtag man's best friend, and hashtag Lassie ain't got nothing on Buddy. Remember Lassie, that show?
Yeah.
That collie?
Beautiful collie.
Always getting Timmy out of the well, because Timmy kept falling in the well.
Falling off cliffs, hanging onto a tree limb.
Exactly. Well, Buddy, he's even better.
Wow.
Wouldn't you protect his little 3-year-old? That's so exciting.
Way to go, Buddy.
Buddy's a good boy.
And everybody's okay, especially that little 3-year-old.
And Buddy, yep.
Yeah, Buddy's a what?
Good.
Renetta and David, they just welcomed their newborn Zane 10 weeks early before the due date. So, as you probably know, the Zane is already admitted to the NICU at St. Peter's University Hospital. Believe it or not, that's the same hospital where David was born. And here's the thing, David was also a preemie 30 years ago. So when they took a trip back to their house to get some things before they went back to the hospital to be with Zane, they were looking over some old photos. And here's the thing. They found a picture of David being held by a nurse at that hospital in the NICU unit. And they went, wait a minute, that nurse looks so familiar. And as they looked at the picture, they went, wait a minute, that's a young version of the nurse that is taking care of Zane, our baby, in the NICU. Well, sure enough, it was. That was the same nurse. And so they went back to the hospital with the picture, showed the nurse the picture, and then they recreated the photo originally taken back in 1986 when David was born with their newborn son, Zane, and that NICU nurse. She's still there 30 years later and took care of both father and son as preemies.
Yeah, they really couldn't recreate it holding the dad because he's gotten pretty big.
He's tall.
He's a big man.
He's an adult.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
But that's kind of funny. I've kind of seen that when I was a children's pastor, having little kids in there, and now I come across them and they've got kids.
They have
same
their own
ages.
kids now,
Like,
right?
what? I can't be that old.
Well, Jim,
What?
I want to break it to you.
No.
I'm going to break it to you lightly, okay?
No. Time passed quicker for them.
Where do you think I'm going to go?
I have no idea. I do
I was
know.
just going to... No, you don't. Here's what I was going to do. I was going to tell Jim he was an Austin children's pastor.
Oh, you weren't?
So yes, I was. So much so that they come back to him that say, thank you for inputting great stuff of Jesus in our life, and now we get to give that to our kids.
Yeah, well, that's a good point right there.
It is, yeah. Because you got so old, we want to make sure that we got...
I think it was, last year we talked about a purse that was found in a school when they're kind of doing some renovations or some fixing them up, stuff
It was like
that.
in the wall or behind a locker or something like that, right?
Which is crazy. And they didn't find the owner at that time. But here's an update, boys and girls.
Okay.
They found the owner
Oh, for real?
of that purse back in 1957 is when that is
that's
from.
crazy.
Unfortunately, it was Patty. I can't pronounce her last name, but she passed away 2013.
Oh, okay.
However, she has 5 kids, and I say kids. They're obviously older.
Okay.
So they contacted them, and they worked together in a little reunion, and they used that time to open up the purse just to get a little history of their mom.
Wow. What kind of stuff was in it?
Well, there was a comb.
Okay, their mom's comb. That would be awesome.
That's exciting. There was some makeup, like powder and lipstick. Rob, I know you're asking. It was a pastel pink, the lipstick.
Okay, well, thank you for telling me the color. Well, they would know what mom used to wear when she was in high school.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of cool because they're picturing her mom as a little teenager in school.
Yeah?
Had a football schedule from 1956.
No way.
And 26 cents, Rob.
Really? Big spender.
Yeah, so they all took a penny from there.
Did they really?
Just to kind of remember their mom by in those days. It's those pennies with the, what do you call those, the leaves? Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, thank you.
What? Oh, did they say something? What'd you guys say?
A wheat penny.
The wheat penny. That's it.
They're so full of knowledge over there. Anyway, it was like erasers and stuff like that. But how exciting is that, huh? And of course, she had gone on to become a teacher herself.
The mom.
The mom, yeah.
Okay.
So she was definitely into education. But that's kind of cool. A little glimpse back into their mom's childhood.
Yeah, that must have been a neat gift for them to receive like that and have that memory, a great lasting memory now of mom and what she was like as a kid. So it's Random Act of Kindness Week, right? I'm wondering if you have even witnessed or seen a random act of kindness this week, or maybe even recently within the past month or so. I would love to hear about that at 800-447-7234. I did see this one random act of kindness that happened on the first day of it, which was Monday, and it was at a clinic. And this became very contagious for people. You see, they gave out a special kindness card at this one clinic. And on the card, Dr. Don Rice said this: "We're paying for your copay this visit." And this is why he chose to do that.
I think we have a culture that sometimes forgets that we can have a much better world if we just start being kinder to each other.
Yet Dr. Rice had a very close family friend who passed away from cancer. She had 2 types of cancer and would always be giving to other people. So in honor of that young lady and his family's life, he wanted to do something to give back and do this random act of kindness. And so he decided, don't worry about the copay today on this random act of kindness day. This is my random act of kindness to you. Gave him a card, and then it was like, wow, hashtag kindness is courageous is what he was trying to get going throughout that day.
Yeah, I was hoping my lifestyle would catch on with other people.
What would that be?
Just being kind.
Just being kind?
Yeah.
He is kind. He jokes and he's sarcastic about it right now, but he's genuinely, Jim is a kind person.
I don't hate anybody.
No, he doesn't. So what about you? What kind of random act of kindness have you witnessed recently? We're talking about a random act of kindness that you've seen, that you witnessed, maybe you were a part of at 800-447-7234. I know Jim witnesses random acts of kindness every day of his life.
Yeah, so much so that I can't even remember any of them right now.
And that's so many of them.
Yeah.
They're packed up in his brain that not one comes to the forefront.
It's just a way of life.
That things are packed in your brain or there's no memory.
But
Exactly. Okay, so we have Pat along with us. Pat, what did you witness with a random act of kindness?
I I had to put my 14-year-old German Shepherd down on January 23rd. And then a week later, I lost my dad, my stepdad.
Oh, no.
And so it's been a really hard, with him having been in the hospital and going back and forth to Concord and such, it's been a really hard beginning to the year. And so I was looking forward to Valentine's Day. So I came home and somebody, I don't know who, I guess it was just God, had put a Valentine card to me from my cat, Tucker, and a Valentine card from Jesus on my front door. And it made my day. They didn't sign it. They just put a heart you, and that was it. And so I just thank God for them because I couldn't thank them personally. But it's such a small thing. Two greeting cards made such an impact on my day.
They do, and what a kind thing for somebody to do. They're thinking of you on Valentine's Day.
Joyce was at a Cracker Barrel eating breakfast with a friend where random acts of kindness happen all the time.
At the Cracker Barrel?
Yes. And she was up there to pay her bill. You get that line up there at the register, and she noticed a military man there, so God laid it on her heart to pay for that military man.
Nice.
Thank him for his service up there. So she grabbed it out of his hand. He wasn't paying attention, and saw that he was paying for his whole family. But she did it anyway.
Good for her.
And let him know how much she appreciated what he is doing for the country.
Joyce, thank you for doing that. I have a son that served in Iraq in the Army, and so knowing that you do that for the military means a whole lot to parents like me. Alicia's along with us at 800-447-7234. What happened, Alicia?
Well, not only did I experience it, but it was wonderful because I had my 4 grandchildren with me, and we were in Wendy's having lunch, and a gentleman walks over and hands me a cash register receipt, and he said, when they call M, the letter M, go to the register. And I didn't understand what he was saying. And then all of a sudden, they called M, and I'm like, and he disappeared. He walked away. And so I went to the register, and he had purchased 4 Frosties for my grandchildren. And so it was wonderful because my grandchildren got to witness that. What better way to teach them about God's love?
Alicia, how did they react?
Oh, they were asking me so many questions, and they wanted to go immediately and thank him, and we looked for him. We got up and went to look for him, and we couldn't find him. And they told me he was God's angel.
I love that. I love how perceptive they are as well, your grandchildren, and how that guy just did what he did just to do something. That's a cool random act of kindness.
Amy is telling us about her 2 boys that instead of getting gifts at birthdays, they raise money for different charities, and they raised $415.25 for
Nice.
the Prisma Children's Hospital in the Midlands. And now her oldest is growing his hair long, so he's going to donate that this year. And she even sent us a video showing his wild and crazy hair, she says.
That is so cool. I love that. We're going to share that on His Radio TV later. So, Amy, go take a look at it. That'll be on Apple TV, Roku, hisradio.com as well. It'll be mobile friendly right there so you can share it with others. Dan's along with us at 800-447-7234. What random act of kindness have you witnessed, Dan?
Well, I was yesterday at the Bojangles, and people were paying for the car behind them. And I know it went several. The car in front of me paid for mine, and I paid for the person behind me, and it evidently had been going for a while.
Yeah, when you got the drive-through difference experience, how did it make you feel?
Well, it really, kind of made your day because it, it's like somebody cared, and, it, made you want to do something. Just kindness is kind of catch on.
It sure does, and you want to do it yourself. Yeah, we call that at His Radio a drive-through difference. So we even have a letter that you can print out on our website at hisradio.com that you can hand to the cashier at the drive-through window and say, hey, I'm going to pay for them behind me, hand them this letter, and then people take off. And it's the coolest thing. It's called the drive-through difference.
Andrea said, a recent random act of kindness that I witnessed is my coworker cleaning out the company microwave. Yikes.
Okay.
So that could be very kind.
That is sacrifice.
Yes.
You have to admit, when you're at the workplace and everybody uses the microwave and not everybody covers it, right?
I'm always cleaning up after Rob.
And I cover my stuff. Thank you.
Sorry.
Don't paint that picture about me, because that's not true. That is just not true.
I retract that statement.
Thank you. But the jury still heard you. So anyway, you get my point. All right. So, Ashley, help. What did you witness recently when it came to a random act of kindness?
Well, we were going on a long trip. We're a military family, and we were taking a long trip back home for Thanksgiving while my husband was deployed. We stopped by Cracker Barrel, and we hit traffic in Atlanta, and we were down for almost a 12-hour trip, which was a 7-hour trip. I had an infant, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and my infant was tore up. This family talked to me, and they were so encouraging. And the next thing I knew, when we went to pay, they wrote a note and said, "We're paying for your meal." And then on top of that, they said, "We see you, and we thank you."
Oh, my.
I just went to my car. I just cried. I went to my car and cried.
How touching that is that they did that for you.
It was such a wonderful thing, and it was such a God moment, because it was something that was so needed, and I felt like I couldn't make the rest of the trip. And then after that, I was just ready to go, and I hit the road and made it all the way home.
Or what did you witness, Kimberly?
I had pulled into a McDonald's, and I was kind of on a tight schedule. And I saw the gentleman in front of me doing his little thing and getting his stuff. And then he handed her his card again. And I thought, oh, my goodness, if you're going to get more than one order, don't do it through the drive-thru. Until I pulled to the window, and the lady informed me that he paid for mine.
Oh, no.
It was just kind of a little reminder from God in a simple way when we're delayed sometimes, and this can apply to bigger things, and that's really more what I'm thinking about. But sometimes we think, oh, my goodness, but God says there's a reason for the delay.
Whew, that's strong. Boy, Kimberly, that's really strong. We're hearing from Rusty as well at 800-447-7234. What happened, Rusty?
I got laid off from my job. I was living in Florida. So me and my wife decided to move to Georgia and try to start anew. We didn't have limited money. We were actually living in our van at the time. And I happened to get a job interview. So me and my wife decided that we would try to get a motel room so I can get a shower, good night's sleep to go to the interview. Sat at Chick-fil-A and was on the phone trying to call a motel room so we can get a motel room within our price range. And this youth group, well, we didn't know it was a youth group. This bunch of teenagers had come into the Chick-fil-A, and they were whooping and hollering. And, we were actually getting a little upset with them because they were, making a lot of noise, and I was on the phone. Well, this woman approached us after a while, and she said, well, we noticed looked like you were kind of having a few problems, and they thought it was financial. So our youth group here took up a collection for you, and we would like to know if you want to give it to us. It was enough money to get the motel room and a couple nice meals for us. And we kind of felt kind of bad about the fact that we were kind of getting upset with the youth group after they blessed us with this financial gift.
How did it make you feel when they gave that to you?
Oh, it was overwhelming for a while there. Like I said, it's just exactly what we need. God came in at the right time, gave us what we need, so, I was able to get the job and, and start building my life back together again.
And I love that youth group was so perceptive that they wanted to help out in some way. That is the coolest thing. And now you're back on your feet today. Susan's along with us at 800-447-7234. What's the story, Susan?
Well, I was in a drive-thru last week, and this lady behind me was honking her horn and screaming out the window, hurry up, I don't have all day, and just really being difficult. And so when I got up to the window, I paid for her meal. More being snarky, honestly, than being this great godly person. But my 15-year-old twin said, Mom, why did you pay for her food? She was rude. I said, well, maybe she's having a bad day. And it's more the effect, I think, I don't know what effect it had on her, but the effect it had on my twins was more than I expected.
That spoke loudly to them.
But yeah, it did. But you can't take how somebody's acting right this second as who that person is, because They may be on their way to the hospital to say goodbye to their parents or something. You don't know.
There's a story behind why people act the way they do, and you knew that.
Exactly.